Shonda Armstrong, aka Nurse Shonda. Now, Nurse Shonda, you've been practicing for
over 15 years.
Over 15 years. And when we initially talked, you told me, girl, the coronavirus ain't nothing new.
I mean, it's not. This particular strain is new, but the coronavirus has been out for quite some time.
Okay.
If you look at the bottle, the back of a Lysol bottle, you'll see that coronavirus is one of the particular organisms that Lysol is designed to eradicate.
Okay. So that's going to go ahead and knock out the first rumor that I read yesterday on Facebook. Somebody said that the coronavirus cannot be killed by Lysol.
There are certain brands of Lysol. There's a Lysol multi-surface, like the ones that are more industrialized.
Okay.
Those that are for like heavy duty cleaning.
Yeah.
Those are actually effective. I was reading a scholarly article on yesterday about that. I was like, okay, come through Lysol.
Right.
But that's on hard surfaces and such. There are other places
like this.
Right, exactly. This is a hard surface.
Yes,
so
indeed.
there are other places that the Lysol would not particularly, assist in. Example, your children. I don't recommend spraying your kids down with Lysol
Before you send them to school.
No,
oh my gosh, did you see that video?
I saw the video. It was a hot mess.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay. First of all, Lysol is designed to kill organisms on hard surfaces.
Right.
And children are kind of germ magnets.
Yes.
They touch a lot of kids. They touch doors. They touch all of the buttons.
Right.
They put their hands on lots of things, and then they put their hands in their mouths. So with that being said, I don't think you spraying Lysol on them is going to prevent them from getting anything,
right,
let alone the coronavirus.
Yes, and shame on those parents who sprayed their children with Lysol thinking that was doing their child a service. It's funny because somebody else posted a video yesterday, I think it was on Instagram, and it was a little girl, and the parents were looking all worried, and they were like, this is the parent worrying about the child getting coronavirus, and then she sticks her tongue out,
and she was licking the boy.
She licks this pole.
That is what I'm talking about. Germ magnets
all day
long.
Yes, because kids are kids, and kids are going to do things that kids do.
Exactly.
All right, so let's start with the coronavirus. Where does it come from?
The coronavirus is actually a virus. It's kind of like most airborne viruses or potentially lethal.
Okay.
It comes from bats, actually.
From bats?
Yes, and I was reading up on this because I was like, okay, bats, that's kind of interesting. So I had to research and look into that. So apparently the bats have a uniquely designed immune system. So when they get an organism, instead of them getting the infection part of it, their cells push the virus out.
Oh.
So it doesn't make them sick, but because it's pushing it out, it allows the viruses the opportunity to rapidly multiply to create these deadly, potentially deadly viruses like Ebola, the swine flu, those kinds of things,
Right.
That's that. I thought that was kind of interesting. I was like, okay. So then I was looking at how they transmitted the disease, and I was like, well, after I read it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Apparently, the animals that pose a threat to the bats, they'll attack them.
Oh,
Bats bite.
yes.
Some of these animals are things that they, chop up and put
almost like rabies,
right? Put a little seasoning on it and they serve it at dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's that's where the initial cases came from.
From China,
right? It's
right.
in China.
So you're saying that folks over in China eat bats?
No, I'm not saying they eat bats. I'm saying they eat animals that bats maybe attack. You see what I'm saying?
I see.
Okay,
I see.
right. Because if
Okay.
they bite bite the animal, they'll infect the animal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know if they eat bats. If they do, that's nasty.
It is,
hey,
but I actually heard
bats.
it was from snakes. That some people eat snakes, and if you don't cook it all the way, you're not killing all the viruses off.
If a snake is in the vicinity of a bat, they're going to have to attack it, right?
Yes.
So it's a little bit of a double dose.
Gotcha.
Of those particular animals, but yeah, in Wuhan, China.
Okay. Okay.
And I know that people were trying to figure out why specifically there. Well, in China, they have a very high. This is the most populous country in the world, so they have lots of people. And any airborne virus, you can transmit it up to 6 feet away.
Yeah.
So if I cough or sneeze in the air, because we're in the room together, you can potentially get whatever it is I have.
Right.
I don't have coronavirus, and just like
you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Because if I get sick, we're gonna have issues now. I'm gonna find you.
No corona.
So that actually leads me to the next question, because we had this big debate yesterday on Facebook where people were saying, "Oh, it's only if it lands on a surface, you touch the surface, and then you put your hands in your mouth or your nose or your eyes." I said, "No, an airborne illness. If I'm in the room with somebody that has coronavirus, within a certain range. I didn't know it was 6 feet. You sneeze, I breathe, I can get the coronavirus just that easy.
Illness, but
Yes.
see, this is also the thing. Both of you guys are kind of right. If you sneeze in the air and you walk in and breathe, and that's why when I go to the store, somebody sneezes, I just turn around and
Right.
I can't do all that.
Okay.
But if you sneeze into the air and someone walks through it, yes, they're going to inhale all of the things that you should sneeze into the air. And think about it. Sometimes when people sneeze, you don't see it.
Yes, no,
You know what I mean? So you just walk through the sneeze and you didn't even know it.
Exactly.
Also, people sneeze and they rub their nose and they touch different things. That's what the hard
like a
surface
shopping cart.
Right,
like a table,
the
a doorknob, a microphone.
Yeah, you've noticed that I'm keeping my hands
to yourself.
to myself. I'm not touching anything.
Right.
Currently.
Okay. So it's kind of like just like the transmission of the flu.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
actually just like the transmission of the flu.
Okay.
And some of the symptoms are actually similar to that of the flu.
Okay.
The lethal cases that I'm noticing, the trend that I'm noticing is that they're in people who have comorbidities that make their bodies work harder to fight off an infection anyway.
Okay.
Example, babies. If any babies are exposed, because babies have premature immune systems.
Right.
They haven't built up the immunity that we have because
Right.
we've lived life.
Yes.
Older people, because as they you get older, cells die off and your immune system isn't what it used to be. People who have HIV and AIDS or currently taking like chemo or something like that. People that are already immunocompromised.
Right.
And people who have like the comorbidities that I was talking about, like heart disease or asthma or something respiratory, those kinds of things as well. It's a little bit harder for them
To fight it.
Right.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you just answered why a lot of older people are getting it and dying from it because of their immunity.
Right.
They
It's
are
their
older.
immune system, and then think about it. With older people, they live life. They might have high blood pressure, diabetes, lung disease. COPD. They may have several different disease processes that are not working in their favor when it comes to fighting off an organism.
Gotcha. All right, so let's go over some of the crazy tactics that I've heard people are doing to try to, protect themselves from the coronavirus. I read yesterday on Facebook, on my page, and a lady said, what if we just take some Neosporin and line our nostrils with it? Would that help?
No, it's not going to help because it is a respiratory droplet, which means the small droplets, like saliva, you can pick it up from that. So that means that if a kid, don't know, sneezes on their hands or digs in their nose or drools in their mouth and then touches something and it dries, that virus is there.
Right.
How is you touching something and then touching your face or putting your hands in your mouth, how is Neosporin going to prevent that transmission? And I'm not understanding. I know that
I'm thinking because
I've
it's
seen
airborne
that too.
in their mind, we breathe
But
through
we
our
breathe
nose,
in our mouth
but
too.
we breathe through our mouth as
Yeah.
well. Absolutely. So the Neosporin in the nose is
That's
is a no-go.
That's a no.
Okay, and then you talked about, once a child or anyone with coronavirus touches a hard surface, it can live there. Now, I've heard compromising information. Some people said a few hours. I read today online up to 9 days.
I'm going to stick with what you read online, up to 9 days, only because other viruses will stay on hard surfaces. They dry.
Yeah.
They've dried off, you know what I mean?
Right.
So until you clean them, and that's cleanliness is a big deal when it comes to maintaining this virus, preventing the transmission of it. But that's with any virus.
Right.
The biggest things they'll tell you, especially as a nurse, the first thing they told us is the most important defense you have against any kind of illness,
Right.
as far as like, flu, cold, any kind of virus or anything like that, is washing your hands.
Absolutely.
You don't wash your hands, wash them properly, with soap, washing them for like 30 to 45 seconds, scrubbing between your nails, like doing the whole nine, like really washing your hands and rinsing them and drying them. And then not using that same hand to open the door. Because some
Absolutely.
people could have been nasty before you and not washed their hands.
Yeah.
So
You never know.
it was pointless
Yeah.
for you to wash yours because now you just got everything that they just
Yes.
touched and,
So before the coronavirus, before I contracted the flu for the first time back in 2005, and I haven't had it yet since, thank God, but I always go into the restroom, I wash my hands, I wash them as long as possible in hot water if they got it, and then when I turn off the faucet, I use a paper towel. If they don't have one, I go in the stall and get some tissue.
Exactly. We're going to turn the water off with
the
it.
same way I'm opening the door.
Exactly.
So
a
to
lot of people
almost-
don't do that, and oh my gosh, I've seen children and I've noticed lately because of the coronavirus, everybody's like, "Oh, wash your hands, wash your hands."
Yeah.
There was a line in the restroom Saturday we were at a softball tournament with one of my daughters, and we were in the restroom at a restaurant.
Right.
And we were all, taking our time, like really washing our hands because there was only one sink.
Yeah.
Where there were some people that got mad because we were taking too long and just walked out, and I was like, see, that's how people get sick. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're gonna go eat with their unwashed hands after they just used the restroom.
Right.
And
don't get me started about buffets, honey. And that's why I won't say the names of the buffets, because some of them I really, really like. They fried chicken and the home cooked fixings and stuff. But just think about it. I'm walking through the buffet, even if I wash my hands before I go, not everybody did. All the sneezing, all the coughing, people, you just not rubbed your nose, probably because it's just a natural reflex.
Exactly. I didn't even realize I did.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's how easy it is for this stuff to spread.
Right.
So now you just, I washed my hands before I went to the buffet, but now I'm about to eat. Because how many people wash their hands after the buffet? Other than me, because I'm a germaphobe.
Exactly. I wasn't a germaphobe before I became a nurse. And when I started really understanding, like when you work in a hospital and you deal with some things, like some of those microorganisms, you're like, Yeah. I used to take my clothes off at the door, like everything, shoes, everything, and strip down, my underclothes and go and take a shower before I touch anybody, before I hug my daughter, before I pick up the baby. I gotta get out these clothes. I've been hugging and touching people and doing stuff all day, and I want to make sure that I wasn't bringing anything home to them.
Absolutely. And the other day I was in Ross. I love Ross. Ross,
by the way. I love Ross.
And I saw this cute, and I saw this really cute blouse, and I tried it on, and you know what I'm saying, went on about my day. And it sat in that if somebody was sick, and it could be with anything, it could be with lice, crabs, it could be with the flu, the cold, anything. They tried it on, and you
might take that home with you.
I might take it home with me. So you just never know, and it's good to be preventative, but I don't think it's necessary for us to be freaking out.
I don't think it's necessary for us to be freaking out either. I think it's very good to increase hand wash. It's okay. So there's a couple things about this coronavirus I'm not liking.
Okay.
I went to HEB the other day to get some water.
Okay.
And I got 3 cases, and they were like, those are the last 3 cases we have in the store.
So order some more.
No, but no, they have like limit of 4, like on the jugs of water, like the cases of water with the different bottles, like the 32 count. That was the last of it. But like on the jugs of water, it's like limit 4. I was like, that's okay. I'm gonna beat the system. I'm gonna get 4. My oldest daughter's gonna get 4. We all gonna get 4.
Absolutely.
So that we could get water. But I think that is crazy for everybody to be buying all the water and all the toilet tissue.
Why are they buying all the toilet tissue? Are they afraid they're gonna need it to blow their nose
I don't know. I was just thinking that maybe they thinking they're gonna get a chronic runny nose, and tissue is the only thing that's gonna save them.
Right, because whatever happened to Puffs Plus and Kleenex and all that, and not only that, why is it that there's no hand sanitizer anywhere, but there's soap everywhere?
Because people are nasty. I'm joking.
Something y'all not using soap.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. As a nurse, we have to wash our hands several times a day.
Yes.
And before you contact a patient, when you take off your gloves, it's several different instances in nursing where you have to wash your hands. The skin on my hands is normally dry because I wash my hands so much. So I have lotion, but I'll use that soap, the antibacterial soap, and wash my hands so much that my hands are kind of dry.
Okay.
Hand sanitizer is okay to use in between washing your hands properly with soap.
Right, and if you can't get to a sink.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, in those instances, that's fine. But please do not think that Purell is going to save you from the coronavirus, because this hand sanitizer is only going to sanitize your hands.
Right.
Now, think about it. If you actually touch something dirty and you try to use hand sanitizer, there's still traces of dirt on your hands that you cannot see.
And germs.
Microscopic germs, exactly. All of that's still on your hands. You need to use antibacterial soap and water and wash them properly and then dry them, and then don't be touching stuff that you haven't cleaned.
And don't forget to get up underneath them fingernails
all in between your fingers too, and around your wrists. Just hit all those good spots.
Right.
You want to make sure that you're clean. And if you don't feel like you did it right, take your time.
Yeah, there's no need to rush for washing those hands when it comes to
washing your hands.
Make
sure you do it right.
Absolutely.
At my house, we've been doing. I have a 2-year-old, so we've been doing hand over hand washing with Chanel. And she likes to play in the water and everything.
Okay.
But she's 2.
Yeah, and you're teaching her.
Right.
Yes.
We're working on hand washing, and I encourage anybody else that has small kids to wash their hands. Think about all the things that they touch throughout the day.
Right.
And they have no limits. So
and they don't have the brains we have when it comes to, we're very self-conscious.
Right.
And we still, make mistakes because we're human,
exactly.
But the kids are just being
kids.
kids.
They kids.
Absolutely.
Like the little girl that was licking the bar.
Now,
if I was her mama.
Oh, man.
But but you know,
I snatched her up so quick.
Exactly.
Ooh, honey, don't get me started.
I would have just died.
Yes,
Not licking that nasty handrail. I don't even like Chanel to touch the board in the shopping cart unless I like wiped it down.
My Purell wipe, it got to come out. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
So, final question, and then I have something personal that I want to share with everybody when it comes to the coronavirus.
Okay.
So stand by for that. The final question is, okay, first and foremost, every morning and every night we hear about the update regarding the cases in the United States. Currently, the last I checked, we have 26 confirmed United States deaths, and we also have over 750 confirmed cases here in the United States. And the government expects that to, continue to rise and grow. So the question is, do you think that the media is blowing this out of proportion? Because I've heard people say there's more people dying from the actual flu than the coronavirus.
That is true.
Okay.
There are more people dying from the flu. There are more people dying from all kinds of different things.
Yes.
I wish they focus more on the preventative measures versus death.
Yes.
The deaths, they should be updating. Oh, well, this is the new. We have this soap, and these are all the products you can use to make sure that your house is sanitized.
Right.
And such, you know what I mean? Versus the death aspect of things. Of course, that's going to put fear in people's lives.
Everyone,
We can't live in fear, you
Yeah.
know. But of course, it's in the back of everyone's mind. What do you do? What do you? But okay, but let's think about this. How many people got Ebola?
Right. Right.
How bad was Ebola? It was like, oh my God, Ebola. We all gonna die from Ebola, and then boom.
Right.
What's Ebola? Well,
Yeah.
no, news stories went away.
Swine flu.
It's swine flu.
Yeah. I remember that.
It all just went away, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Did they fix it? Is there a cure? Should I go get a shot for this? You know what I mean? But there was no
update.
Follow up, right? There was no
nothing.
follow up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this is where we are. They just stopped recording. I'm like, okay, we good now.
And what's crazy is I got sick back in November. I got sick, but it was like for 4 days, and then I was good. And I mean sick, and I ain't nobody to lay down.
Right.
But I laid down and I slept that thing off, and I was just so congested.
Sometimes you got to do
You
that. Though.
do, yes.
You just need rest. But you know what it
Right.
was? You was working too hard.
You think that's what it
When
was?
you work too hard, your body will shut down.
You're
on
right.
you
You're right.
and
It
break you down to
probably
where you
was.
have to rest.
Yes.
I've been there before.
Okay. They told me at urgent care I had the rhinovirus. Never heard of it a day in my life. I'm like, what is the rhinovirus? I ain't been kissing no rhinos, Rhinoceros. Right. So she said it's kind of like a cross between the flu and the cold. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But
but this is the thing you have to mind with viruses. But you have to keep in mind with viruses rather. Even with the flu, there are medications to treat the symptoms and everything. You want to treat the symptoms.
Right.
You don't like the achiness. You don't
Right.
like the fever.
Yes.
The cough. The fatigue. You don't like those things. Okay.
Right.
But it is a virus, and most viruses just have to run their course.
Absolutely. All right, once again, y'all, Krishanda, aka Nurse Shonda, Krishanda Armstrong, joining us live on the Kelly Mack Show today. She is a registered nurse. She has plenty of education experience and training regarding all health issues, but today we're talking about the coronavirus. And before we go, I'm going to take my headphones off for this because, when you have your headphones on, you hear a different version of yourself. But I have something I want to share, and because you and I were supposed to do this interview earlier at, 12:30?
About 12 o'clock.
Okay, so we were supposed to do this interview at 12:30, and we had to push it back. And the reason being is because we were at an event last night, and when we were coming back from the event, we had a very much unforeseen situation happen. We're driving down the freeway, and we hear this big boom. It was horrifying, okay? And we jumped, and then we heard boom, 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 right? And once we realized that a tire actually blew on the vehicle that we were driving, luckily, thankfully, I wasn't driving, but at the end of the day, the driver was able to pull over to the shoulder,
Get you there safely.
get us straight. We had to get a tow truck and everything like that, but at the end of the day, we were safe.
Right.
But while I was thinking about the frustration of that inconvenience, I also had to thank God because that car could have flipped.
Right.
We could have hit somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It was just a tire and a little bit of damage from the tire blowing up on us. But that could have been the end of my life and my driver's life. So more things in this world
Are more important.
And the coronavirus, at the end of the day, you have to realize what's for you is for you.
Right.
And your birth date was determined just like your end date. And one thing for sure is we all gonna die.
Exactly.
One day.
Probably not from coronavirus.
Right.
If you wash your hands.
Absolutely, you know, and practice good hygiene.
Right.
But just to put things in perspective, that anything can happen to any of us at any time. So I share that